If you do go on to enjoy today's video, please remember to hit that like button and of course subscribe for more content. And if you need any coins for Ultimate Team to get a head start on the game, head to the link in the description. Use the code TVM for a discount at checkout. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to a brand new video. And yes, it's a player that's been out since the very beginning of the game. But remember, despite the fact that we've had early access and we saw game changers playing a few days before the first, the game has actually only been out for around 17 days, so just over 2 weeks. Gomez is still around 100,000 coins. There is a huge price tag on this 83 rated player for a reason. We're about to try and find out why. 3-star, 3-star, medium work rates. I'm not a massive fan of that, especially with how pace works this year, and getting in behind is definitely the way forward, counter-attacks and what have you. There are a few clips within the gameplay of me playing around 3 or 4 depth, and then the latter stages are me playing around 7 depth. So you're going to get to see, I mean, in some scenarios you'll probably get to see him tracking back and how high the line is. I feel like a higher line of engagement just seems to work better this year for some reason. I mean, of course, you do have to make sure that you don't get caught, and you have to make sure that you are tracking the passing lanes and trying to stop the counter-attack as best you can. But still, Gomez is fast enough. And of course, with the shadow, you do turn that 78 acceleration and 85 sprint speed into 88 acceleration and 95 sprint speed. It has been tested by quite a few people so far this year, the pace in which you get from chem styles, and it is rather accurate. So even though you think, oh well, I'll put a shadow on him and I'll get a little bit of a pace boost, maybe not what I'm seeing on paper, you do actually get what you see on paper. Of course, it'll be a little bit different because his agility and his balance are quite low. He's 6'2" as well, so he will feel a little bit slower than, you know, a 5'9" striker with 90 agility and 88 acceleration, 95 sprint speed. But it's going to give him that boost to be able to keep up with your lesser paced strikers. And of course, if you start with a yard in front of the striker, you should be able to use your strength, because he's got 83 strength, to be able to hold off the attacker. In terms of his defensive capabilities, we've got 85 stand tackle, 83 defensive awareness, 84 interceptions, 82 slide tackle, only 76 jump in, but as I mentioned before, he is 6'2", and of course he only has 74 stamina. But again, centre backs don't really suffer from stamina issues as the rest of the team does. That is my weekend league team. I finished Elite 1. I'm joking. I stopped because I'm not sadistic. I just don't see how EA expect people to go for rank 1 division rivals and then try and play all 30 games of weekend league. I wouldn't say it's impossible, but it surely can't be good for one's mental health. So, I mean, I'm not ever really trying to finish as high as I can in weekend league, although I know this week in particular I could have had a particularly high finish had I played all my games. Not trying to spoil it for the road to glory, basically, otherwise I would tell you everything. But Gomez was I wouldn't say an integral part of the reason why it was not as easy to coast there, but it wasn't that difficult to get to the rank that I got to with the relative ease that I did. Van Dijk next to him was the shining light in my defence. I mean, I know my team is probably better than most because we have Mbappe and Ronaldo. By the way, we are running a first owner road to glory, and this is the team that we have. So if you are wondering how I got it, it's not through FIFA points, it's through sheer luck more than anything. Van Dijk next to Gomez was inspirational this weekend. He was like, I was going through to get the clips, and I didn't write it down, basically. What I normally do is if a player that I'm reviewing does something, I will note down the time that he does it, so that when I'm editing, I can go back and just have a little look. Well, I didn't do that. I thought, well, I'll just run through the clips and I'll just sort of drag through it and have a look to see when we have a sort of defensive situation. I'll have a look to see if Gomez has a part to play. And every time I went through it, Van Dijk was the one that was the one required to make the challenge, if you will. And these are the clips that I found of Gomez. Now, I only looked through about 3 or 4 games. Of course, he played the whole weekend league for me. But either way, he was still a very important part of that defence. Him and Virgil van Dijk at the back are absolutely incredible. Now, I know not everyone is going to be able to afford to run out and buy Gomez to go alongside their Van Dijk, because not everyone's going to be able to afford those two as a defensive partnership. I got very lucky and I've packed both of them untradeable. But Gomez is one of those defenders that is obtainable for a lot of people, especially if you play either weekend league or rivals to its full. So if you play full 30 games in at least one of them, you should be able to get enough out of rewards to pay for the majority of Gomez. If not, then hopefully you'll get lucky in a 2-player pack or an SBC or something like that, and you can pick Gomez up. But the reason I wanted to do a video on Gomez is to showcase why an 83 rated card 2-3 weeks into the game cycle is still worth 100,000 coins, and of course to say whether he's worth that 100,000 or not, because in the market the way that it is right now, there are only select few cards that are holding their price. There's an awful lot of cards that were 20, 30k 3 or 4 days ago, maybe a week ago, and now all of a sudden they are 900 coins. I'm looking at Llorente more than anybody else. He was 25k on PC about a week ago, and he just dropped off like a stone, and he's now worth about 900 coins. It is mad. So Gomez, what is he good at? What is he bad at? I mean, his agility and his balance are awful, so I wouldn't expect him to be able to jockey particularly well. He can, but not fantastic. I mean, Van Dijk is the master of jockey, and he will intercept and defend everything. Gomez can do a good job, but he's not going to be as good as your high-end centre-back. The agility and the balance are probably the only things that really concern me. Passing out from the back, definitely not his forte. He has 78 short passing, so it's good in a straight line. And if you can see your intended target and it doesn't need to go through like the eye of a needle or anything like that, then it's fine. You can do it. You can play that from the back. It's great. However, if you need to play somewhat of a complex pass, forget about it. Don't even do it. Just hoof it clear and hope that your striker is tall enough to head the ball, or just knock it sort of down to one of the wings and hope that one of your wingers is quick enough to get on the end of it. That is, of course, relying on the long passing a bit more, but I feel like long passing is a little bit more accurate, and the chances is sort of the risk rather versus reward is definitely worth it, rather than passing out from the back and having it intercepted. So many times I've done that this weekend where I've defended the ball, made a challenge, got the ball, which is a novelty, and then went to play the pass and played it straight back to my opponent. I play with a slightly more zoomed camera angle than co-op, so I can't quite see the level of angle that the majority of people playing co-op will see, but, I should be doing a little bit better, and Gomez's short passing is not great. But the rest of the card, he's strong with a shadow, he's fast, and of course his defensive stats with a shadow go through the roof. 95 stand tackle, 97 slide tackle, 88 defensive awareness, and 94 interceptions. I wouldn't be worried about the heading and the jumping because he's already 6'2". He does win his fair share of headers, and if you manually control the positioning when going in for a header, you should win it, and if you don't, then hopefully your secondary centre-back will do it. He is a good card. I can more than understand why he's worth that 100k. Just has that feel of a good defender, even though he's only 83 rated. I've got a funny feeling you're going to be seeing Joe Gomez in people's defences for the next 3 or 4 months at least, until in and around Team of the Year, Team of the Season. That is going to be where we end the video. I like him. I think he's worth the money. Beware of the drop-off as always, but if you are getting the most out of him now, I think it's probably worth the investment anyway. Let me know what you think of Joe Gomez in the comments, whether you have him and love him or hate coming up against him. And if you have enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and until the next time, goodbye.
Join the Betting Rebellion and find out what your football knowledge is really worth.